Do this. I don't want to do this. Hi, I am Kip Monassi. I am the president of American Indian Movement Oklahoma. We are a support group under the direction of American Indian Movement Central Texas, and today we are here to discuss discrimination. We've taken a stand here in Oklahoma to bring the American Indian movement here because we feel that Oklahoma has some issues that are detrimental to American Indian health and well-being and culture, and we believe that the state of Oklahoma wants to be a step ahead in the education and diversity available to all people of color. And we feel like we can make some changes, some positive changes that need to be made here in the state of Oklahoma. Today I'm here with one of our people from our parent group, AIM Central Texas, Mary Redhawk, and I am also here with a member of our organization, Sydney Mycovey. And we are here with Mr. Jim Tiddark, who this incident has occurred with at a Subway in Oklahoma on 67th Street. It is a personally owned franchise, and he's had several issues there. Mr. Tiddark's father was a full-blooded member of the Comanche Nation, very well-respected member of the Comanche Nation, known throughout Indian country as a master of ceremonies. He also served in 3 different branches of the armed services: the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. So, you know, he comes from a very well-renowned family, and this is not something that he takes lightly. So, with that said, I'm going to give the floor over to Mr. Tiddark and let him tell you his story that's been going on for over a year.
Okay. About a year, maybe approximately about 2 years ago, I walked into the Subway. The Subway is just about a mile away from my house. I frequent quite often. And there's a particular lady in there that I noticed when I'd go in there, she would not say hi to me. She wouldn't even look at me. And when I would get in line, she would wait on all the people in front of me, and then when she got to me, she would just walk away and bring these people out and let somebody else serve me. That kept happening like about a half a dozen times. Every time I kept telling my wife, there's something, this lady does not like Indians, or she does not like men, or both, because she does not acknowledge that I'm there. She will not make a sandwich. She will not say hi, hello, anything you're supposed to do in the food service. She was doing the total opposite when it came to me. Other people, she was jovial, talking to, but to me, I felt discriminated against. And so I called up the incident at the corporate office and told them about the incident, that there's a girl there, and she's real easy to pick out because she's got tats all over her neck, her arms, and I explained what was happening and how I was feeling discriminated against. And they gave me, I call it lip service. They said, well, we're sorry, we don't condone that. That was the end of that. And so I waited about a month, and I went back into the same Subway to see if there was any changes done. And the girl was still in there. The girl would not look at me. She would not take my order. Matter of fact, I was in line. I was the only one in line. She came around the corner, putting her gloves on to make a sandwich. When she seen it was me, she did a U-turn, walked around to the side, and asked somebody else to wait on me. So they came in there, and when they started to wait on me, I just walked off. I said, that's it, I had enough. I went home and told my wife, I said, you know, she could see that I was visually, or that I was distraught, I was upset, and I told her what's been going on. And I said, you know, I've called them, I called corporate about her to report what's going on and how they're treating me, and they just keep giving me the same old lip service, but nothing has changed. So I'm personally going to boycott them. I'm not going to go in there no more. And that lasted about a year. And I got a year's long enough, you know, and I wanted a sandwich, so I went down there about the early part, about the mid part of December of 2014. Went in there, no incident. There was other people in there. The second time I went in there, I think it was on the Saturday on the 20th, before Christmas.
And this past year?
Just past year, 2014. And went in there, and there was 2 ladies in there, and only me. There was 3 people in there, 2 employees and me. The girl took my order. I gave her my order, and as I was finished giving her my order, the cashier made it a point to come over toward me, and she made a comment about my earrings. She said, "Oh, I see you got your other ear pierced." And I pointed and looked at, showed her, and I said, "Well, actually, they've always been pierced. I used to have 4 piercings when I used to dance." And she goes, "Oh, you used to be a stripper." And I didn't know what to say about that because my jaw dropped. And the other girl that was helping her was kind of said something like, you know, like underneath her breath, like, "You can't say nothing, you can't say that." And she goes, "Well," and I said, "Well, when I used to Indian dance, I had piercings when I used to Indian dance. My father, who's full-blood Comanche, you can look at me and tell that I'm Indian." And so my dad used to MC all around Oklahoma and in Texas. And she said, "Well," this was the girl, the cashier, she goes, "Well, I think all Indians are ugly." And when she said that, I picked my jaw up off the ground, and the girl that was making my sandwich, she did the same thing and said to her, "You can't say stuff like that." And she goes, "Well, it's true, all Indians are ugly." And instead of me twisting off and getting loud and saying something and catching a case, I just kind of bent, you know, just kind of
Big time.
grinned. Yeah, basically didn't say
Grin
nothing,
bear
but
it.
I was up shaking. I was so upset. I paid for my sandwiches and I went home, and my wife could tell there was something wrong with me. And when I told her I was shaking, I was physically sick, that she had said that. So I had called the corporation. I didn't know if it was franchise owned at the time. I just called Subway corporate and talked to a lady named Jenny, and told her about the incident, and she kind of blew it off like, yeah. Is that it? And I was like, well, yeah. And she goes, "So what do you want me to do?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know what I want y'all to do, because I've called in an incident before and y'all didn't do nothing. So I don't know what's going to come from, if I report this incident, I don't know what's going to come from it this time." And she goes, "Well, what do you want? What do you want? What do you want?" And my phone hung up on me accidentally. So I called her back, and she goes, "Oh, I thought you hung up on me." I said, "No, my phone hung up on me, I'm sorry." And I said, "Well, you was asking me what do I want. I said, "Well, what are you gonna do?" And she said, "Well, that's confidential." And I said, "Well, that's pretty convenient how, you know, that you can't tell me what you're gonna do, but you wanna know what I want done." And at that time, all I wanted was an apology, and I didn't feel that it was heartfelt because they did that before and nothing was done. So that conversation kind of ended on a bad note. She hung up on me. I called back and I see if I could talk to somebody else besides her, because she kind of had attitude. And I talked to another gentleman, don't remember his name, and he said, "Yeah, we looked it up. He was talking to this girl named Jenny, and she don't want to talk to you." And I said, "Okay, well, I want to talk to somebody else, her supervisor, and let them know how she talked to me." I said, I called corporate to try to get an explanation to make me feel better of why this person would say that to me. And all I got was berated and got hung up on. And then they blocked my phone calls, because I kept trying to call back, and my phone was blocked for a whole week. And I thought to myself, when I came home, and I talked to my daughter-in-law, and I told her about the situation, what happened. She goes, "I'll put it on Facebook." And I said, "Well, go ahead, because, you know, I can't afford a lawyer. I'm on disability. So whatever we got to do, because I can't fight these big corporate lawyers, but I know Facebook is a monster, and it's nationwide, worldwide, and maybe that'll draw some attention. So she put the incident on Facebook. She called me back about an hour later. She goes, Jim, you won't believe how many hits we're getting on my Facebook page about, you know, people wanting to boycott and people on your side, that they've been treated the same way at the same place. And she goes, do you mind if I put your phone number down there on the Facebook? I said, go ahead. And when she did, 5 minutes later, Mr. Dave Ortez called me. He's one of the head of AIM in San Antonio, Texas. And I explained the situation to him, what was said and what was done. And he basically told me that, they're really not going to do nothing, Jim. He said people in corporate office, the way they treated you was disrespectful and shameful, because they really didn't take me serious. What they did was took my complaint and then they just blocked my call, thinking I'm just going to go away. And I'm not going to let this go away, because I'm sticking up for not only my people, my brothers and sisters, but my sons and my father. And
the generations to come, as
yes,
we were taught.
Yes.
Because we're taught from a very early age, hey, when we go and take a stand on something, we are teaching and doing things for 7 generations to come. You know, we have to look forward to those times for these things not to happen to our children, to our grandchildren, to our great-grandchildren. This has been going on for years, and it's time for change. It's time for those things, and it's been time. It's long overdue. And for these things to continue to be still happening. This is 2015, and this is still happening. Something's got to change, and we're going to take a stand. And you know, we're gonna continue this on. We're gonna go to the Subway. We're gonna do some more investigation on this, and we will take action on this issue. I don't know exactly what that action is going to be, but it will get corporate's attention. I myself am going to be talking to them, as well as Mr. Ortez has spoken to the owner. The owner's name is Don Nottingham, and the manager is Ricky Carbo. The lady who made the statement is Jessica Herrera, and we have also a witness who was another employee there at that Subway, Tiffany Alexander. So we're going to make it a point to go and see these people, and do some further investigation and make a stand against this Subway. If that's what needs to happen, that's going to happen, and then maybe we'll get their attention by hitting them in the pocketbook. So I'd like to thank you for your time, and thank you for standing up and taking notice. We all tend to sometimes just kind of look the other way and say, maybe I'm just having a bad day and they're not really doing that to me. But yeah, it is really happening, and we do need to do something.
Yeah, and corporate could have stopped it, I think, by just appeasing me and telling me what I wanted to hear, a sincere apology, and that they are going to discipline this lady somehow. But they didn't. The first lady I talked to, she pulled it up, and they pulled it up on video. They go by receipts. They found my receipt, and she goes, yeah, we got you on video, but there's no audio. And I said, how convenient. And then a week had went by and I had got no response, so I went over her head and got a hold of another person in the complaint department, and she pulled it up and she goes, well, there's no video of that now. And I was like, well, it's even getting better. I said, by next week there probably ain't even gonna be a store. And I said, that's fine, y'all just keep digging yourself in deeper. I got AIM on my side, and that means a lot to me, that I got somebody in my corner that believes me and knows that I have no reason to lie. I'm a Christian man. I had my own business at one time. I'm retired now because of disability, but for this to go on, it is not right. And somebody in corporate really needs to have something done, I think financially, to make them stand up and pay attention, because a slap on the wrist, nothing's going to get changed. But when you hit their pocket and make them come out of 6 or 7 figures, then that's what's going to get their attention. Then policies are going to be changed because they took a hit in the pocket. Then they might have to sit down and watch a DVD when they get hired of what to say and what to do and how to be respectful
of all people.
Of all people, yes.
Yeah, and that's something, you know, this is a tolerance issue that needs to be brought up to Subway. You know, this is an intolerable situation that needs to be rectified. At the very least, an apology and some policy changes on proper customer service. It's a basic human rights position. You know, you just treat people with respect, treat others. It's the golden rule. Treat someone the way you want to be treated. And, you know, this is not right. So we're going to look further into it and continue on. So we'll be back with you and let you know further on this issue as it progresses. So thank you very much, everybody, for being a part. And we're all going to meet at Subway and have lunch and see what happens.